Picture this. You're crammed into a crowded subway car. Or hey, maybe you're at a party where everyone is physically in the exact same room. But what is literally everyone doing? Right, they're staring down at their screens. If you look around, it's just endless scrolling, typing, deleting, all in absolute silence. Welcome to This Explainer, where we are going to tackle one of the most fascinating, yet honestly heartbreaking paradoxes of our modern age. Here is a wild statistic for you. Over 60%, yeah, well over half, of young Americans say they feel deeply alone. And that's despite having the entire world sitting right there in their pocket. We have instant messaging, video calls, social feeds updating by the millisecond. And yet, we're facing an absolutely unprecedented epidemic of isolation. So, what went wrong? How is it even possible that the very tools designed to bring us closer together have somehow pushed us further apart? Okay, let's dive into this. When you look at the 2024 Vitality in America study from the Signet Group, the numbers are just striking. Generation Z, the first true digital natives, report a loneliness rate of 67%. Now compare that to baby boomers at 44%. While older adults actually suffer more severe physical and mental health consequences from being lonely, it's the youngest, most digitally connected generation that is experiencing the absolute highest prevalence of profound isolation. We are quite literally looking at the loneliest generation. Gen Z grew up with the internet, right? With platforms shaping exactly how they connect, communicate, and even see themselves. But behind those perfectly curated screens, something is profoundly breaking. And look, this isn't just some casual cultural observation, it is a full-blown medical crisis. Back in 2024, the US Surgeon General issued a really stark warning. With up to 95% of youth on social media, the danger is undeniable. These platforms are explicitly built with features designed to foster compulsive use. Think autoplay, the infinite scroll, the constant push notifications. And the medical literature shows this is directly linked to sleep destruction, severe attention issues, and incredibly, it literally changes brain structure in ways that mirror a gambling addiction. Author Jess Kirby hits the nail on the head here. She points out a very specific loss, the privilege of growing up without a smartphone. There's an entire generation out there mourning an adolescence they never actually got to have. An adolescence completely free from the relentless pressure of the internet tracking their every move. Their identities haven't just been shared online, they've been curated specifically for the algorithm. So, the crucial point is that digital connection has aggressively replaced physical presence. Imagine a college student sitting totally alone in their dorm room at night. They might be messaging dozens of people all day, trading memes, sending quick texts. But in real life, they feel like they have absolutely no one they could call in a crisis. The screen provides this very convincing illusion of presence, but it utterly fails to replace the actual warmth of human closeness. To understand why we simply can't look away, we've got to look at the hard science of how these apps are engineered. Enter the ludic loop. This is a psychological mechanism pulled straight from the casino industry. It's a repeated cycle of uncertainty, anticipation, and feedback. Every single time you swipe down to refresh a feed, you are essentially pulling a slot machine lever. You get a short, sharp burst of dopamine, but over time, these constant micro hits leave your reward system totally exhausted and feeling way emptier than before. And this brings us to the super fascinating theory of evolutionary mismatch. For millions of years, human beings evolved to live in small, secure, highly predictable communities. We are hardwired for a deep sense of belonging. Well, social media acts like junk food for that primal drive. It exploits our evolutionary instinct to seek out social validation, but by exposing us to the hyper-curated highlight reels of thousands of strangers, it triggers an endless, totally unwinnable social competition. And this brilliantly illustrates what happens when that system overloads. The consequences are severe. A peer-reviewed study in the Viva Medica journal scientifically proves a direct link between digital burnout, that feeling of constant screen fatigue and notification overload, and deep loneliness. The endless, exhausting demands for our digital engagement actually strip away our capacity for meaningful, supportive interactions in the real world. Because connection simply does not equal belonging. Think about a young creator online, right? Constantly filming, smiling on camera, absolutely drowning in thousands of likes and comments. But when that ring light turns off, they're just sitting alone in a dark room. In a world where everyone is technically seen by the masses, fewer and fewer people feel truly, deeply known. Endless scrolling creates emotional exhaustion, not a real community. To cope with this massive gap, we've stumbled into something deeply unsettling: automated parasociality. Now, a normal parasocial relationship is a one-sided bond, like being a massive fan of a celebrity. But today,
Algorithmic systems and AI are actively simulating intimacy and authenticity. They offer us a customized, ever-present companion that knows our exact preferences, but requires absolutely zero emotional risk or vulnerability from us in return. This creates a powerful but really dangerous illusion of intimacy. Think about it. The algorithm is ever-present and completely non-judgmental. It fosters a false sense of closeness that feels incredibly comforting in the short term. But the dark side here is that this frictionless, perfectly customized interaction slowly replaces genuine, messy, beautiful social bonds. We are actively trading the difficulty of real human relationships for the easy comfort of a personalized feed. But hey, it's not all doom and gloom. There is a turning point of hope here, and it's called the analog rebellion. A growing faction of young people have realized the game is completely rigged, and they're pushing back. They're intentionally choosing presence over performance. This resistance has coalesced into what's known as the Analog 2026 movement. It's all about digital minimalism. We're talking about a massive surge in people swapping out their $1,000 smartphones for basic dumb phones. It's a real return to intentional media consumption. People are reading physical books, pursuing unplugged hobbies like baking or rock climbing, actually making eye contact when meeting a friend for coffee, and getting back out into nature without the intense urge to post it on an Instagram story. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the psychological driver behind this trend. It's a concept called anemoia. It's a beautiful word that means having nostalgia for a time you never actually lived through. Gen Z is craving the simplicity of the early 2000s, heavily leaning into a retro Y2K aesthetic. But it's not just about fashion, right? It's a deep yearning for a perceived era of more authentic human connection, which is turning the humble flip phone into a legitimate modern status symbol. Honestly, it boils down to a pretty simple truth. The smartest move you can make right now is to get a dumber phone. Embracing these analog limits isn't taking a step backward at all. It's actually a profound, empowering tool for self-control. By removing the capacity for endless apps and tracking, users are aggressively reclaiming their attention, they're dramatically reducing their anxiety, and they're taking back sovereignty over their own personal data. But listen, for this to truly work, it has to be more than just another digital microtrend neatly packaged for us to consume on TikTok. The core ethos is simple, but incredibly difficult to execute. Consume less, do more. To truly reconnect, we have to entirely decenter the internet from our lives. We have to stop optimizing every single second of our day and remember how to just exist in the physical world again. Which leaves us with this final vital question to ponder. Seriously, look up from your screen for just a moment. Maybe the problem isn't the technology itself. Maybe the problem isn't that we're too connected. Maybe it's that in all this endless digital noise, we've simply forgotten how to truly connect. Think about your own digital habits today. Are you using your tools or are they using you? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Until next time, stay curious and hey, maybe try leaving your phone in the other room for a while.